Hey everybody, it's Karen here. Back up in my craft room doing a little more Christmas crafting. This time I'm making some crackers, poppers, whatever you want to call them, Christmas crackers, treat holders for my coworkers. Now, I have two examples here that I've done, and they're just cute. They're going to hold some candy in bags. You could fill them with whatever. I was looking online to try to find the pop part that when you pull it apart, it makes that pop, but can't find that. So I'm going to have to make sure I tell my coworkers don't pull because otherwise they'll rip it. But I've done two versions of this here. One with 2-inch sides, so 4 2-inch sides, and then the other one has 8 sides that are 1-inch sides. So just thought it was a little fun, just a different way of doing these. And to make these, you really don't need a lot of materials. You really just need one piece of your good side, good cardstock, good strong cardstock. If you have 8.5 by 11 cardstock, that's perfect because that's what we'll be working with. You're going to need some pattern paper to cover your sides. You're going to need your trimmer, of course. You're going to need a scoring platform or a scoring blade for your trimmer. And you'll need a ruler and a pen or pencil. You're going to need a bone folder, some scissors, some good strong adhesive and regular adhesive. Optional is like a border punch, which I used on this one to kind of make the tops a little bit fancier. I've got some ribbon. And what I used this time was I'm using the December stamp of the month called Christmas Snow Globes to add some decoration to it. And I also, I stamped these in intense black ink and colored them in with the tri-blend markers, but I also added a little bit of clear shimmer to it to give it a little bit of kind of a shine, especially since there's snow globes. I want it to look like it was snowing inside. And that's pretty much it. I used a little bit of scrap cardstock for my sentiment tag, but I'm going to show you today how to make this one with the 2-inch sides, just from the expediency standpoint. But I will have directions on my blog post, and I will have a link to that blog post on this with this video description. And there'll be a downloadable PDF that will have the directions on how to make either one of these versions. So, and basically it's the same. It's just the size of your scoring and your cuts versus from one to the other. And I want to say, I hope you guys enjoy this. If you do, please like and subscribe to my blog and to my YouTube channel. And we're going to get started. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut our cardstock to 8.5 by 11. Then we also need our pattern paper. I need 4 pieces that are 3 3/4 by 1 3/4. Now you could double mat this pattern paper. You could use whatever you want. You could do something additional from some more pattern paper if you wanted to. You could put a strip around the top part of the cracker. Just keeping this simple today because you can really decorate it how you want. So once I've got that cut, I'm going to go through and I'm going to score. So let me pull out my cutting blade, put my scoring blade in. So this is the 8.5 portion. I'm going to score this. I'll do it in this direction, make it a little bit easier on you. And again, all these directions will be in my blog. So I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch. I am going to score it at 2.5 inches. I am going to score it at 4.5 inches. And then I am going to score it at 6.5 inches. So this is along the 8.5 inch side. Now on my 11-inch side, you can do this either way. You can just keep on going over, or you can flip the paper around. So my first score is going to be at 1.5. Then I'm going to go to 2.5. Then I'm going to go to 3.5. Now I'm going to turn my paper around and we're going to repeat that same scoring on the other side. So 1.5, 2.5, and then 3.5. So it'll be the same scoring when you're working with the 8-sided one, except we're going to basically, so almost you'd be doing this in half. So you're going to be scoring at 1/2, then you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Same basic thing. These scores on the 11-inch side are the same for both versions. So what I did next is I did this on the back side. So I took my ruler. Now I am going to create, and I hope I have this done by the time I publish this video, in a Cricut Design Studio file that that I will share with everybody, that will, so you could basically score and cut this on your Cricut. I'm hoping I have it done. I'm going to work on it, but I did this all by hand because I'm a firm believer, I don't want to have to force everybody to have a Cricut or another cutting system. I like to try to figure out how to do these things by hand, and that's just kind of my nature. So on these, so we're going to be cutting basically diamonds out between, so we've got our 1.5-inch score line, 2.5, 3.5. So this is going to happen on both sides. We're going to be cutting diamonds out so that this gathers in. So what I did is I took my pen and a ruler, and I want this to be basically, I want a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to basically mark, so I've got my score line here and my score line here. I'm going to mark in the center 1/2 inch out, so 1/4 inch on either side. And I'm going to repeat this on each of the areas. So I don't know if you can see this. I did this, I kind of already pre-marked all my lines. So what I'm going to do, and I did this on both sides. So what I'm going to do now, and I'm cutting from the back side just because. So what I basically do, so now that I folded this, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut from my 1.5-inch score line up to that pen mark. And I'm going to cut this direction. So now basically I've cut a diamond out. And your diamond is going to want to be from the 1.5-inch to the 3.5-inch. So this is what we're going to do, top and bottom on both. So, and I just basically did this. And this basically will help it fold in. It doesn't have to be perfect because of course you are going to be gathering this. So I did this on each score line. And it's the same, going to be the same, except the dimensions are a little bit different with the 8-sided piece, because with that I did it so that there's like a 1/4 inch piece here. So let's just get these last cuts, and then I'll show you what I did on the end. I mean, the end is a little bit, not really super trickier, but my scraps. So as you can see, my diamonds are starting to show up. So, and I do this because this helps it kind of gather in. Get this cut, and then this. Okay, so now that I'm down to the end, because these are going to overlap, this is going to be your tab that you're going to use to glue it together. So I'm going to fold this down, and then I'm going to put the two sides together, because since this is going to basically be together. So what I did is I folded my tab forward for now, and now I'm going to cut out here. One piece. And the cuts are fairly simple. I mean, it's not super complex. It's just that it took me a little bit of math, and you guys know me and my math. So that's my last cut. And now I'm gonna lay this out. So there you go. There's all with all my diamonds cut out. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold it back, and I am gonna use my bone folder to score my creases. And so I'm going to do the 8.5-inch side first, and then I'm going to show you what we're doing, something a little bit different with the 11-inch side. So we're doing the 8.5 folds first. Now, with this, we're going to be doing mountain and valley folds, or in and out. So if you're not familiar with this, my first piece I'm going to fold back to create a mountain fold. Just this little tab. And then I'm going to fold this in, and that creates a valley fold. And then this piece, again, gets folded back for another mountain fold. And I'm going to repeat this on the other side. Just tuck this in. So, because this will fold in like this. So we have a mountain, a valley, and another mountain. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Fold this back. And this is where I definitely recommend a bone folder or the edge of your scissors. Just, it's going to give a nice crease to what you're doing. And then my last fold here. Like that. So this is the finished scored and fold piece. Now I'm going to take my strong adhesive and just find the end of it. Put it on the outside because we're going to tuck this tab behind the other side. And one more piece. Okay, and before I go to assemble that, I am going to adhere these papers, because once you get it assembled, it's not going to be as easy to get the paper adhered to the sides of the panels. I definitely recommend you do it before you assemble it. And this would be the time also if you wanted to do a, use a border punch on the edges to just kind of give it a little bit of a different look, something a little fancier. If you wanted to put a piece along the top here, this is definitely when you could add it. All right, now I've got my sides decorated, and now I'm ready to just put it together and assemble it. So I'll just pull my cover off of my adhesive. One more piece. My fingernails are not the best right now. Okay, and I'm just going to bring this back, and I always start at the top. Carefully line up, because of course this sticky tape is very strong. And then I'm going to do my middle. I always try to line up my score lines. There we go. Take this down. Oh, here we go. And my last piece. And then I like to kind of give a good crease to my adhesive to just give it a little bit more adhesion. And there's your base box. So from here, it's really just going to be decorating your box. I have some ribbon that I picked up that I'm going to use. Now, what I would recommend if you can use this as a treat bag is what you're going to want to do is tie one end shut first. So I'm just doing a simple bow, and you could really do whatever you want around the sides, and it just kind of cinches it down. There's a little bit of an opening, if you can see this. There we go, that's a little bit better. So I'm going to put, when I put candy in this, I'm going to put it in a bag before I put it into the popper. And I don't really know what to call it. Christmas crackers, Christmas poppers. I'm really not sure. You know, I've seen them online, many versions of it. So I've got a little piece of ribbon. I'm just going to snip this down, shorten the ribbon a little bit. And then this is where you'd open up this side, put your candy in, your treats in, whatever you want. And then when I do the other ribbon, in order to kind of have it match, I will do it from this side so that my bows line up. And then put my other piece of ribbon underneath. And then I kind of subscribe, I do this as an old Girl Scout way, so I just left over right, right over left. That's kind of always how I've made my bows. And then again, cinch that down. And you could probably do a couple layers of ribbon to give it a little bit something fancier. You could put candy in it, treats in it, gift cards. I think actually probably a gift card might work in it too. And trim my ends. And that one doesn't need too much. And then what I did is to decorate them all, I used this Snow Globes Stamp of the Month for December, and stamped it using Intense Black ink on White Daisy cardstock, and then colored it in with my Tri-Blend markers. And then on my other ones, I added a little bit of the clear shimmer, and they're of course still drying. So basically here is my Christmas crackers poppers treat holders, and like I said, I will have link in this on the video description to my blog post with more directions for it, a little bit more information, and the link to a downloadable PDF with more directions. I really hope you guys like this. I hope you make some for some Christmas fun, and thank you guys so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day.